Muslims come to the West and they're crazy over building masjid. You can see Canada. They're mad. Somebody told me if they build a masjid, God is going to build a palace for them in paradise. They don't realize they got to apply for visa first. But that's not a worry. Somehow they're going to go in there. So masjid is built all over this place. It's a cheap way to fool the uneducated. They don't build institutions for overhauling their malady. They build masjid because they think no matter what goes on there, they're getting blessings. You go into Muslim countries and you see how difficult it is to build a church. You go into Muslim countries and you see how difficult it is to build a church. You see how difficult it is for Christians to congregate and to have public gatherings. When we do that, we are displaying characteristics of kufr. Kufr marginalized people. We want people to allow us to practice, quote unquote, even though we are far away from the divine guidance of Allah. We want people to allow us to build masjids in their country. Don't you think they are human beings too? That they need to build masjids in Muslim lands? This is the least of the disparity. If we are Muslims, and I said last week, Muslim politicians, I know many people, we read about it in the newspaper, who aspire to be political leaders at the national level, at the provincial level, and all levels. Which Muslim politician you know about? Locally and internationally, that stands up and speak with the wisdom and the values of the Qur'an. The book that they have to learn the least is the Qur'an. It's easy for any politician in the name of any religion to stand up and say, I'm a politician of Hindus. I'm representing the Hindus. Or I'm representing the Christians. Or I'm representing the Muslims. This is the psychology to get the people of that community to vote for them. Because there's no prerequisites that before you stand up in the name of Islam, you must understand what Islam is. So that you can bring a sense of relief to the people at large, bring a sense of hope to all these people, and speak with a higher language of enlightenment to people. Canada needs Muslims more than ever before. The world needs Muslims more than ever before. But not the Muslims of culture, not the Muslims of paganism, the Muslims of reality, of practical sense, who can improve the politics wherever they find it, who can improve the economics wherever they find it, who can add substance to sociology, to the different values of society, who can enrich the educational system, and whose quote-unquote religion can have a positive impact. I ask myself and you to spend a moment and see what we can do to protect ourselves against the onslaught of our own mistakes, against our hard-heartedness, against our indifference. What answers do you have and do we have for having Qur'an in our homes, on high shelves perhaps, in different languages, and don't even have time to become its students? What would you say? You don't have to tell me. I have no excuse. I'm saying that to you. Fastaghfirullah. Please seek the protection of Allah. Because Allah is very loving, very caring, and very willing to shelter us as long as there is life with us. Fastaghfiruhu innahu huwal ghafurur rahim. Dear brothers and sisters, in conclusion, Allah tells us that those who quote kufr, their companions take them out of enlightenment and lead them onto darkness. You and I are the best judge of our lives. Nobody is appointed to judge my life more than I. And nobody is appointed to judge your lives more than you. The big question above us, can we honestly answer this to ourselves and our families? Can we sit down as families and answer this? Every day that we live, are we moving away more and more from the darkness and moving towards light? Or we have all the reasons to move away from light and gravitate towards darkness? I leave this with you and myself for review and consideration. We ask Allah to keep the memory of all the apostles and all the messengers alive, fresh, pulsating with us, because their messages remain most pertinent and most valuable to all of us. Let us turn in salah. Inna salata tanha 'anil fahsha'i wal munkar. Because salah, when we do what is expected of us, it can keep us away from fahsha. And the most underlining meaning of fahsha is extremism. And munkar is to consider something that ought to be given the highest value of importance and recognition, to consider it as something of no great importance. As-salam.